You guys know My Little Pony. They had movies, toys, then Gen 4 came out, and things got a little weird. Bronies. Then Gen 5 came out, and things got weird in a different way. It got bad. But we here love ponies. It's a fun time. Well, you see, back in 2006, there is this one Danish/Chinese company named Draco who thought My Little Pony was pretty cool too. So, and I may be pronouncing it wrong because these are Danish people and they have different pronunciations, Jacob and Henrik, or maybe Jakob, if there's Danish people in the audience, please tell me. They founded the company and made a toy line called Philly. I see why they took their Danish company and brought it to China. They figured if they were going to make a knockoff, it might as well be a Chinese knockoff, just to make skirting around copyright laws easier. Now, you may have never heard of the Philly brand, and why would you? This was a brand very specifically that's supposed to fill the markets My Little Pony wasn't in, or where they knew that they could appeal to the audience, the general demographic, better than My Little Pony. They would even emulate the Neopets art style, back when that was popular, in order to try to appeal to that demographic as well, because nothing they do can be unique, apparently. Oh yeah, this is good. I don't know what a Danish accent sounds like. I will use these for myself. Hello, children. I have invented these pony creatures. I will now form the basis of your childhood. That being said, I do love the style of Neopets, and that would definitely work on me. You might be wondering, if this is clearly a ripoff of My Little Pony, did Hasbro ever sue this company? The answer is yes. But they only really were able to sue on infringing character designs because Hasbro doesn't own the idea of magical ponies. Do you really think they're gonna be there in court and argue that they own the concept of unicorns? Come on. So Philly is able to do its own thing and sell toys. The tactic of trying to insert yourself into countries before the clearly more successful company, that's not anything new. I mean, it's a very common strategy in business, especially in the toy market, because they eat each other not in the good way. The Energizer Bunny is known as the Duracell Bunny pretty much everywhere except America. That is how prevalent this sort of thing is. And most people don't even know about the Energizer/Duracell Bunny, because why would you? Why would you even bother thinking of that? Exactly, and that's why these strategies work. So get this, there is an animated TV series for Philly called Philly Funtasia that has been in the works since 2013 and was kind of in development hell and was only able to release in 2019. And oh boy, it's a doozy. Full disclosure, I'm using the uploads from Glitterina's YouTube channel because this is a pretty hard show to find and I have no idea how long it will be staying online. So if you want to jump into this show, then I recommend you do it now.
Attention all students. We have a worrisome situation here at the Academy. A large unknown attacker entered our school grounds this morning.
I didn't cut this. This is just how the show is made. I am suddenly not surprised why this was in development hell for 6 years. For some reason, every episode has this bad supercut that describes the entire plot of the episode before starting the episode, which kind of tells me they don't have any confidence in the show, and so they give you the equivalent of a PowerPoint presentation to the kids before actually showing the episode.
I paid to have these specially made, and I need all 8 for Miss Twilight.
Twilight? Hasbro, sick 'em, boy. We don't know any of the characters or the world or any other of those, important things. No, the first episode is just the white one named Bella ate Will's cupcakes and she lied and said a monster did it. Apparently this is a school, even though I thought it was a castle, but sure. Also, here's the big bad guy and his bat minion that lives underneath the school. The bat, not the, whoever this guy is. Gosh, I sure would like to know this villain's evil scheme. It's a shame we have to focus on whatever it is we're focusing on right now. The principal believes Will and tells everyone there's a food-stealing monster on the loose. I know that this is supposed to be a lesson on telling the truth, but if it's this easy to lie and get away with it, I'd be lying all the time. I'd be getting away with literally everything. I understand acting is hard, or at least harder than some people think. But when it comes to acting this bad, how? Why do people think, oh yes, I'm acting. I must say everything like I'm acting. And then they say everything in the most unrealistic, stiff way you can imagine. When just saying the line in a regular voice would work better. And it's actually especially egregious with whoever plays Will.
Fuchsia alert! I need a cupcake alert!
It sounds like an alien that's trying really hard to talk human. It's so uncanny, it's driving me crazy. Oh, you might be wondering why he has wings. That's because he's from the Philly Elves toy line. Everything is based off the toy lines they've been releasing every year since 2006. For a knockoff, they have a long history. I guess when you do something long enough with enough consistency, it's not really a knockoff anymore. Bella is even getting praised for fending off the monster that ate the cupcakes. I really feel like this show is doing the opposite of teaching kids good lessons. Bella even starts leaning into it and lying more.
But now they think I'm a hero.
But you're not a hero, because there is no monster.
I really beg to differ. It doesn't matter if you actually did something. All that matters is if people believe you did it. That's how politicians stay in office. They find a massive cupcake in the forest. Bella, it turns out it was a trap to catch the monster, and it's completely successful since Bella is the monster. They have magic mirrors? Oh man, hang on. I need to do more research into the toy line. Actually, I think this is exclusive to the show, but you know, I don't know. I think the toy lines are like the foundational research to understand the show. Anyway, they come clean about the lie.
That's so crazy. No one could have made it up, so it must be true.
Are you kidding me? Just lie. Just keep lying. These idiots deserve it. Let's just move on.
The blue rainbow is starting to form. Soon its light will reach the hills of Funtasia. It's not the rainbow I'm interested in, but the powerful crystal it produces.
Oh, so the bad guy wants crystals for evil stuff. I still don't know his name. Is this gonna be one of those shows where they air everything out of order? Or, you know, like the order of how they finished the episode and sent it to be aired instead of like in the order the story unfolds? I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't work. I mean, it's worked pretty well for Miraculous Ladybugs so far. They've been getting away with it for years now. Don't ask me how. The fans are always upset about that. My qualms about the writing aside, they have a lot of setting and backgrounds for this show. They actually make this school feel, honestly, it feels like a city more than anything. If anything, I would argue that's what ate up so much of the budget. We know the writers weren't getting paid much, but these animators and modelers were doing a lot of work. I'm convinced they could reuse all of these models for playsets, and it somewhat feels lived in. Compliments where it's due. In just one episode, we see a massive improvement with the writing. What was an A plot of the crystal and the B plot of this stereotypical geologist nerd now converging as this guy stumbles onto the bad guy's plan to acquire the blue crystal.
Did it!
That's amazing.
Miss Sparkle gave me this special magic dust to remove the crystal from the rainbow.
Wow.
Jeez, talk about unnecessary details. They're trying really hard to make the magic mirrors relevant to the plot, and so far, I'm convinced it would have been better if they just didn't have them at all. Little bat dude, whom I also have yet to learn the name of, traps Rose and the attractive Pegasus Crown Man to steal the blue crystal to make evil magic mirror man happy until he drops it in front of the geology major. Now he looks like a hero for finding the missing crystal.
Cave will lead us out of here?
Only one way to find out. Follow me.
Hold on. They use magic to summon their magic mirror so they can use the magic in the mirror to levitate things. Why can't they just levitate things with their own magic?
Energy transference. With this crystal, I can transfer my life energy out via this ridiculous mirror!
And get out of that prison, Master?
Oh, he's trapped inside the mirror. I thought he was just using the mirror to communicate with his minion. I feel like we could have used some exposition, but we dedicated the first episode to cupcakes.
So, how do I look, Batty? No!
Why does the villain get one of the best pony designs? This is so unfair.
Those crystals have to be here somewhere.
Sparkling water or flat?
Flat is fine.
Flat. Gotcha.
That's probably the most solid evidence that this show was written by Danish people. I forgot sparkling water, or water with gas, is super common in Germanic countries. The show is lacking so many fundamental details that would make it watchable, like, what do they go to school for? They're just in school. Are they learning magic, or is it just like general lessons that we experience all the time? None of the main characters really have a goal or quest or anything that would drive them to do anything. They're just kids that go to school and do kid things. You have a show that clearly had a decent amount of work put into it, but I bet the reason it took so long is because they were building something without a solid foundation. How do you have direction to develop a show when you're missing key variables that make a show what it is? I don't know what makes any main character distinct from anyone else. They all really have the same cookie cutter personality. There's a reason having tropes are so helpful. It helps push and elevate a show. We might roll our eyes to tropes like the smart one and the sporty one and the shy one, etc. But without them at all, and nothing better to replace it, we have nothing that gives the show any identity. Heck, this episode, the villain, actually gets more character development, learning to appreciate his minion, Batty, because he's failing in his mission to steal the crystals from the fillies. But Batty actually has good ideas to help him, but the show isn't revolving around the villain. The villain at this point in time is a better main character than the main characters. Lynn is really the only one of the main characters that has a different personality type, being a more rugged person that likes scaring people and doesn't fall into the stereotypical dealings of princesses or royalty. Also, they are royalty. I know they have crowns and tiaras, but there's nothing that really shows their royalty. Everyone is apparently royalty. Is this a school for royalty? I need details. What are the kingdoms? I understand that these details might not be something a kid would think of when they're playing with their toys, except it is. It definitely is. Shows give us more material for playtime, and they aren't supplying any of this material. Is this stuff we're already supposed to know? Even though this show is lacking in a lot of ways, every subsequent episode after the first is actually watchable. How was the first episode so abysmal?
I was just trying to...
Enough, Rose! You're always in my face! I want to be alone!
I figured that's what you wanted. Miss Sparkle always tells us to get along with everyone. I hoped I could change your mind.
Well, you haven't. In fact, you've made it worse.
Heck, even the lessons for the kids are actually delivering now. Who was the one who thought the cupcake episode was a good idea? I was really hoping that maybe this show would be just a different kind of My Little Pony. That maybe we would get a pony franchise that evolved in its own unique way. That it would be able to bring its own unique spin to this concept and grant us some new content inspired by different cultures. But instead, we got exactly what it really is. Just a derivative of something that actually has potential, boiled down to its bare bone elements that strips it of what made it magical. One thing I'd like to know is, the main villain, whose name is apparently Wranglem, how was he stuck in a mirror? Who trapped him there? What did he do to deserve this? I know he wants to destroy the world and stuff. I'll just accept that because that's pretty standard. But I feel like there's a whole history here that they just don't want to tell us because they just didn't care to flesh that out. You know what the show reminds me of? Those like really weird, shoddy, like PS1 animations we used to have. Rose must be nearby. Look at the tail. Do you see what I mean? PS1 animations.
How are you going to do that, your masterfulness?
By using my biggest asset?
Your bottom?
My brain!
I was about to ask why Batty wants to work underneath the villain, but now I think I know, and it's for the exact same reason I would work for a villain.
They'll never believe us.
No.
Oh, I need to update my rock journal.
I know that was just them forgetting to add in whatever it is Lynn said right then, but that reminds me of how they would make characters say something so quiet that the main character wasn't supposed to hear it, a la Kingdom Hearts 2, they do that a lot.
Huh? Huh? What?
Roxas!
Almost every episode revolves around some magic crystal, that of which Wrangleum wants, and Batty has to intervene in order to figure out how to somehow fail at getting the crystal, just like every episode. Rinse and repeat. Only halfway through the series do we actually get any backstory on what the heck is going on, but only because we're introducing mermaids now. For, merchandising reasons. And because it's no doubt easier to animate. Philly mermaids lost their special crystal and disappeared, but they apparently saw mermaids, and so they want to help them.
We need to find that crystal and help the Philly mermaids.
Not today, Rose. Nobody really knows what's in the depths of the lake.
You guys haven't seen any mermaids in years, and now you're just going to pass up this opportunity? You aren't even going to argue, oh no, we'll take care of it. Just a hard no. I know they're trying to set up a rebellion story here, but it's not good. And with a MacGyver detective device and an afternoon walk, they find the super special mermaid crystal in a tree. Okay, you know what, sure. And then Wrangleum's minions steal it. Rose gets thrown overboard into the depths, but a mermaid made sure she wasn't about to perish. You'd think that since they can levitate things, they'd just levitate Rose before she fell all that far.
That means Rose is still alive down there.
We need to help her.
Did you guys see that? The clouds, they just stopped.
It's not because of my hair that I hate water. It's because I can't swim.
You can achieve anything if you believe in yourself and concentrate on it.
I can do anything. I can do anything.
Guys, no. This is how you drown. Kids, do not take this advice. Go take swimming lessons. Oh, geez, now YouTube is going to assume this video is for kids. Shit. Damn. Hell. Hail Satan. Sex. Bella saves them. I hope you weren't thinking this was going to amount to some big overarching plot where we get to meet the Mermaid Society, because that's not happening.
I was so close to getting that crystal, but you blew it! I told you not to blow it!
I know, it's almost like the only thing that Bat can think about is blowing you. See, YouTube, my video isn't made for kids. Now you may have thought that Wrangleum's mirror prison was some sort of pocket dimension sort of thing, and I thought the same thing, but we're both wrong. Rose falls into this crater into an underground cavern, and she just stumbles on Wrangleum's crystal prison. So the mirror is apparently just a portal that leads to a crystal prison underground? I guess that works, but it's just really strange. So he's not really trapped in the mirror. And I have an announcement. I am no longer on Twitter. I am abandoning Twitter for obvious reasons, and I am now on Blue Sky. If you don't know what that is, I think it's basically the new Twitter. I'm actually not scared to post on there. So if you've been following me on Twitter and it's just me being like, hey, I have a new video out, that's because I've been scared on Twitter. Really hate Twitter. So I'm on Blue Sky. There's a link below if you want to follow me there. If there's anyone watching that grew up with Philly instead of My Little Pony, I hope you're all very thankful that your ponies were never touched by Rule 34. And if it has, well, I'm not going to find out if it has. I have seen enough of that as it is. There's at least some advantages of a show not being popular. What's more annoying than anything is that now they're introducing history and lore of the main characters, like Rose's grandmother creating the Dark Crystal, no relation to Jim Henson, which is one of the most powerful crystals ever, just like the last 3 crystals they went to find. And these are pretty good plot hooks, but they last literally 1 episode, completely contained and never touched upon again. Things that could be connected to in later episodes, but that's too much effort apparently. At least I can rip these for my D&D campaign.
I've never seen you so sad.
It's all right for you, Bella. Your ancestor didn't create the Dark Crystal. I've decided. I'm going to quit the academy when we get back. I don't deserve a place there.
Honestly, I'm not even surprised at this point. But don't worry, it gets even more frustrating. Episode 14, they have a flashback episode where they show how all of them met and what kingdoms they're all from and how they got their magic mirrors and how their mirrors work.
We witches from Zimsala beat you fairies every time.
You know, literally everything I've been lost on throughout this entire show, but no, we couldn't have this for the first episode. We needed to focus on cupcakes.
She possesses great powers. Powers that can help me to rule Funtasia.
Oh, so we're just going to pretend his goal has been to get the Dark Crystal this entire time? Yeah, sure, They finally realized they could do something with what they've established.
Well, I thought it was a pretty feather.
This is a feather from a Philly angel.
So yeah, we don't have Pegasus. That would be too obvious. No, we have horse angels, and also multiverses are real. Don't forget about that. Does this mean we're going to see horse demons too? Eldritch horse abominations? I love how they do this sort of world building solely to set up the plot of an episode. At least in this episode, we get to actually see Paradisia. I only wish we got the same treatment for the Mermaid episode, but I'll take what I can get.
What are friends for? Exactly. Friends forever.
Okay, they keep doing this thing where they have one song and they repeat it throughout the episode where Rose sings it. Just a bunch of nothing goes on and she's just singing the same song. They've been doing this for the last several episodes. It's just a song, one song, shoehorn in to make it sound like they're going through some big heroic struggle, and they just really need to muster up the courage in order to tackle it. But they do it for things like, oh no, our wheel is broken. This is clearly the greatest struggle that we've ever faced. Time to sing about how emotional I am about this challenge. They can't create an actual monumental challenge so that they can give off the impression that she's going through something rough to try to trick the kids. You smell that? Take a big whiff. Oh yeah, that's the bullshit.
These are special art crystals. They allow you to create works of art using your mind. Here's the spell you have to use. Crystal mirror, let's all see. Bring out now what's inside me.
Okay, another day, another commission. Let's see. Oh, I got an email. It's another NSFW hardcore furry commission with another uncomfortable kink. Okay, well, making money. Crystal mirror, let's all see. Bring out now what's inside me. Oh yeah, that looks good. I'll scan it in and send it to them later. Awesome possum. Oh, another Pokemon game was announced. Is there any gym leaders? Yep, I'll get on to making fan art of that one to boost engagement. Okay, Crystal mirror, let's all see. Bring out now what's inside me. And there we go, that's been posted. Okay, jokes aside, doesn't it feel like they are that fast? Like it's magic how fast some of these artists are whenever something new is announced and they just have fan art like the same day sometimes. It's insane. The latter half of the season starts completely abandoning the formula of finding a crystal, trying to beat Wranglem and Batty to the crystal without realizing that Batty is trying to get the crystal, and then completely forgetting about the crystal the next day. Now it's teaching kids about how bees work, world building, interrelational drama, all that typical spice that would make a show feel like it's actually trying to build on itself. I'll admit, this show is definitely getting better and better as it goes on. Frankly, if it keeps improving like this, I could see it actually going on to being on par with My Little Pony. It's kind of funny seeing this show just casually get better and feel like it's pulling itself together. It's like whoever was forcing the show into development hell eventually pulled their head out of their ass. That is, until they go right back to their formula. At least it was a nice change of pace.
Okay, let's do this. Crystal mirror, inflation?
No! Quick! The degenerates heard you! What's the one thing they like more than pony inflation? I know. Hey guys, there's some really cool Sonic inflation over here.
Sonic inflation.
It worked. Wait.
Sonic inflation.
Oh no. Goodbye, everyone. However, we do see episodes dedicated to seeing the different characters' families, like this tiny little fairy pony is Will's aunt. They don't explain why she is so small, you just gotta assume it's because of magic. If you pay attention, there's a lot of times where they moonwalk as they're trying to get someplace. They want to emulate walking, but really they emulate the opposite. You guys realize the background needs to move, right? Now, the development behind this show is largely unknown, so I'm going to cover my bases. If this is a team of animators that were local and are working on sanding down the rough edges, then this is a pretty decent show of all things considered. I know the program and graphics they're using look pretty outdated, but the visuals aren't necessarily what makes a good show. I mean, Ruby looked awful and that show boomed. People can recognize good animation and bad style. However, it wasn't animated in Denmark. This show's script and storyboarding was done by Draco Entertainment, but the animation was done in China. Since, again, Draco Entertainment is equally Chinese as it is Danish. China, as of recently, has been booming when it comes to their animation. Typically, animation is outsourced to South Korea or Japan. But I'm guessing this show was maybe done by in-house Chinese animators that they got for cheap. People that could do the job, but maybe needed more work in their portfolio before they get hired for bigger jobs. All of the individual ponies' movements and mouth syncing actually looks pretty good. Where it was important, the animation is solid. There's just that last 20% where it lacks. When it comes to the writing, you need to remember that this show has two primary audiences in mind, and neither of them are American. They're making this show for their Danish and especially Chinese television channels, so the writing is going to be a little jank just because of how stringent China is when it comes to what they allow in their country. Looking at it through that lens, this show makes a really good amount of sense, all things considered. And don't forget, there's only one season that is dubbed in English. There's apparently 4 seasons of this show.
I have it on good authority that Wranglam has gathered enough magic crystals to escape from his crystal prison. I fear that Wranglam plans to seize Rose and use her to open the crystal caverns to steal the dark crystal.
Oh my gosh. Something is actually happening? That's a first. Oh no, here he come. Oh no, there he go. Gosh, he's such a big, imposing figure. How did this guy almost take over the world? Rose using her magic necklace to open the secret door to the dark crystal, and the principal also grabs a rainbow crystal for foreshadowing reasons. Okay, back to the dark crystal. Oh no, here he come again. Her crystal mirror gets broken, which I'm pretty sure that means she can't do any magic. Gosh, what an imposing army.
Wow, it's so good to have a new crystal mirror.
Oh, I thought, okay, never mind. So he gets the dark crystal, and then they use a vacuum to suck it out of his hands, and also suck up his army. So Rose fills the magic vacuum with the power of the dark crystal and super sucks Wranglam. I thought that was Batty's job. Not sure how much I like how a woman is only able to win with the power of cleaning utensils, but okay then. I didn't expect this to be satisfying. I hope you enjoyed this little glimpse into whatever this was. Leave recommendations of what I should review in the comments. Thanks to you guys for recommending this show. Also, I have a Patreon. Stay beautiful and keep playing.